Welcome back to the Alpha Touring Challenge. We are here at Hockenheim in Germany today for the second round of the 11th season of the series. Today's race is a 45-minute, one pit stop affair for these drivers. One of the shorter endurance races in series history. Here at Hockenheim, though the old forest layout is gone, as you see the remnants of it there, the shorter version of Hockenheim is still a blast to drive. Lots of overtaking opportunities, tight racing, especially through the arena section. The second stop on our 12-stop calendar here in Season 11. Next week, we're headed to Knockhill, but right now we're focused on the Hockenheimring. This layout of the track has been around since 2002, since they took out the forest section. The Porsche Experience Center is here as well. That's great for hot lapping. They've got a drag strip. The series went here in Season 8, and the race was won by Micah Hendricks, though they also ran the National A layout back in Season 3. Wojciech Sawidovic won that race. Here's the track layout, but let's head down to the grid to see today's drivers for the race. On pole, it is Michael Polasek making his first start since the second season of the Alpha Touring Challenge. The driver, currently independent, wearing his Obsidian Racing gear and ready to get back to where he started. Defending champion Logan McKenzie and last week's winner sitting in front of the three B4D drivers on the grid. James Carr ended up third last week, starting third this week. Can he improve here at the Hockenheimring? Micah Hendricks starting alongside another Formacia teammate this week. This time it's Matthew Zepka sitting on his left, and Matt Hendricks himself is currently running a special Golf livery on that Veloster. Cody Crosgrove making his first start of the season alongside Jacob Wally, last week's Delta winner, looking to have a good performance this week as well. And then behind him, Jason Breen. He came close to winning in the Delta class last week. He's starting right behind Wiley this week. What can he do in that Yard Elantra? The field is set here at Hockenheim. We got a couple of Croc Hunter cars back there. I'm seeing Ty Dunnett, Spencer Clark, Christian Ost, Franco Aguirre. They're all set. They're all ready. Around that last corner bend, that's going to be a bit of a tricky start for these drivers. We now await the green lights for the start of this race. Round 2 of Season 11 starts now. The drivers are getting ready to grid for today's race, so let's take a look at the track that they will be taking on. The Hockenheimring, 4.53 kilometers in length, and a pretty cool track temp today. The sun is hanging out behind some clouds, so it should stay cool for the majority of this race, nice and grippy for the drivers out there. And what of those drivers? Let's take a look at our starting grid. "38 cars lined up to race at Hockenheim today, and they are just waiting for the green flag. It will be Michael Polasek on pole today with Logan McKenzie alongside him on the front row. McKenzie on both front rows so far this season. James Carr in third behind them, the entire breakfast for dinner team, or at least three of them. Carr, Lazan, Bauer, all behind them. What can they do? We are waiting for the green lights. And round 2 of season 11 at Hockenheim is a go. Michael Polasek is going to lead them off here into turn number 1. McKenzie's already slotted in behind. Then it is Carr, Lazan, Bauer. We got a Sia driver slotting in there. That is Francois Schenk. He's in 6th. Then it's Mitchell, Hendricks, Bertolucci, and McFarlane. And they've all done a good job of kind of making their way through turn number 1 without much incident. That really filters out those cars, but you're going to see the field really tighten down here into this corner, and this is a mess. Look at how slowly they are having to take this. And you see Anthony Harrison making a move on Cody Crosgrove through that section, and they're going to come out of that corner and around the Parabolica. Polasek into the lead, and they are all getting a little strung out here. A couple cars too wide back there. Going to head into the hairpin. This is where we might see some moves. Let's see the top 10 staying pretty static. You see Raymond 2 looking for a move on Anthony Harrison back there. He's going to go for it up the inside. They're 3 wide further back. That's Crosgrove on the inside, Fedorowski in the middle, and they have all made that work fairly nicely. And now down into turn number 7. 2 is ahead of Harrison, Crosgrove ahead of Fedorowski. You have Fuado Rijla ahead of, it looks like, Mark Darnell. Some more fighting in the back. That's Son, Murray, Clark. They're starting to settle down a little bit. Jason Lynn staying ahead of Brian Son there. And through turn number 10, we're looking at right there now. And it's been an incident-free first lap. These guys are doing a great job keeping this one under control. And now this is the tighter curve down towards the end of the track. Sachs curve. Oh, we got a car off in the back. That looks like it's Kevin Clark. He's had a little spin, and it has put him into the gravel. And now down to the final corner, it's Polasek, McKenzie, the B40 trio, Schenk, Mitchell, Hendricks, Bertolucci, and McFarlane as your top 10 in this race thus far. A fairly clean first lap. We had Clark go off, but otherwise, the entire field is in great condition right now. And Polasek is your leader. This is Polasek's first race in the Alpha Touring Challenge since season 2. So he has returned, he is back, and And he started off well in the pole, into the lead, ahead of championship leader Logan McKenzie. And that is a very slim lead, however. Didn't have the best of runs out of turn number 4. And heading down into the hairpin, it's going to be McKenzie taking a peek and tucking back in. But back behind, Shink's going to take a peek. Oh, and now Lazan going a little wide there. Got out, I'm not sure if he got to the left of the curb, but he loses control under braking and slots back in. I think 4 or 5 spots down. And Mike D'Almeida going side by side with Matthew Zepka there. And Zepka has some front end damage that he is dealing with. But he's going to have that inside line for this next corner. And Raymond 2 is looking for something behind, trying to pounce on these guys, take advantage of the battling going on. Not able to do anything, though, and I see trouble behind. That's Daniel Smith. He's had some kind of issue on that corner back there, it looked like. I saw him getting a little sideways, and he has lost 3 positions since the start of this race. But overall, he doesn't look like he has damage. And ahead, that's Christian Ost going off. A lot of people having trouble keeping it on track through that section. That's a big gravel track, a very inviting looking gravel trap. And there's the 4th B4D driver. It's Jacob Wiley, their 1 Delta driver. Oh no, there's contact between him and Adrian Fedorowski. We came in at the wrong time, or maybe the right time there. I'm not sure if he cut down on Adrian, or Adrian got in a little deep, but he ended up being the one who lost out more there as a lot of cars go by. But I think both drivers got away with minimal damage. So a small incident on lap 2. These drivers are expecting a pit stop today. It's a short race, so those could come quick. Could happen pretty fast when they do happen. We're expecting them around lap, let's see, we're 4 minutes into this one. We have 45 minutes total. Pit stops will probably happen somewhere between the 25 to 35 minute mark. So it'll be fairly close to the end of the race. We're not seeing a whole lot of moves here. It could be, McFarlane getting into the rear of his SRG teammate, Ian Bertolucci. Both of them are trailing Damon Mitchell, who is in the SRG Crayon Audi, as it's sort of become known. But he's running in 6th, 2 positions up since the start of the race. Behind him is Micah Hendricks, 3 spots up, after starting all the way down in P10. This season he's not had a great start to the season thus far in qualifying, or not a great last couple of races, I guess, since when qualifying started. But he's making his way back up, and in race pace, he's able to clean up. Kirk Lane has had some kind of issue here. Oh, they're all getting dicey. It's Daniel Smith on the inside of Christian Ost. Fuad Rizal is leading this group. I see Brian Saab trying to get in on this to the right side of Ost, and 2 wide behind. That's Kirk Lane and Daniel Cedeno. And this is intense fighting for the 21st position. That is what that's where Daniel Smith is. And I think they've all managed to slot back in just before the final 2 corners, and Ost is going to go really wide there. That's an off track. Further behind, Jason Lynn and Kyle Murray getting into it through that final corner, but Murray slots ahead, and that was a battle for the 26th position. 10th overall in the Delta class. No movement up ahead for the leaders. Polasek currently has a 1-second lead over McKenzie. Carr went a little bit wide, we saw there, coming out onto the Parabolica, but it looks like he's managed to gather that up. Stays ahead of Francois Schink. Then you have Mitchell, who has made it ahead of B4D driver David Bauer. And Bauer looked for something at the hairpin there, and he's really close. But he's not going to be able to do anything. And despite how heavy of a braking zone that hairpin is, it is a much tougher spot to overtake than you think, because you throw it in there and then you have no run off of the corner to do anything. Ty Dunnett making what I believe is his first start in the Alpha Touring Challenge, or his, I think he was at VIR last week. He's side by side with Spencer Clark. He's on the preferred right side line there. Cuts over that curb. They're trailing Jason Lynn. This is the battle for 27th overall. Oh, and Dunnett's going to hold the outside around that corner. That is a nice move. That is 11th. He's up into 11th in the Delta class now. He's gained 4 spots since the start of this race, so he's had a great start so far. Daniel Smith further up. He's still defending from this group. And we're looking off the rear of his car at Christian Ost. Daniel Smith is currently the last Alpha car on the circuit. Christian Ost, P5 in the Delta class. But they are fighting for points. Every position counts for points across both classes, so they are still very much going to be coming together for this one. I see trouble or stuff happening up ahead. We have teammates going, fighting with each other. Dan McFarland making the move on Ian Bertolucci into turn number 2, and out of turn number 4, he's got him. And now Micah Hendricks is right on the back of Damon Mitchell. Look at this. Will he pull out, make a move into the hairpin? Yes. Mitchell stays a little to the right, a slight defending move, squeezes Hendricks down the track, and Hendricks actually tucks back in, gives him a shove at the apex, but he has nowhere to go, and Hendricks stuck in 7th. But as I mentioned, Hendricks has not had the best start to his championship defense, but that's only if you kind of look at his championship at a relative light. I mean, last season may have been the best season of Hendricks' career. So to start with a 4th place finish and then qualify 10th in the next race is just relatively a downer. But his race pace so far has been strong. Up 3 spots. We are only 9 minutes in, and he still has a lot of cars well within striking distance. Running the new Golf livery for the Croc Hunters team. I wonder if I've heard his livery designers have been having some issues getting those liveries to stick on the car, so I wonder if this is a temporary reprieve that they put on there. Spencer Clark right on the tail end of Brian Son. This is a battle for 11th in the Delta class. Following him through that curve there a little further back now. And this little group here, it's Brian, Spencer, and Franco, all of them car to car to car in this battle for the 28th overall spot. There's a lot of good fighting down in the field, while at the front of the field, not a whole lot going on. Nobody really wants to take that chance and make a move into the hairpin. We're going to cut back to Damon Mitchell, Micah Hendricks, because Mitchell has already cut through 2 of these SRG drivers, and he's trying to make it a hat trick. Last lap, he didn't really have the momentum. Here, Mitchell's going to actually defend the inside, and he's going to let Hendricks all the way to the outside. He's really swung it out wide there. I think he's trying to make sure Hendricks is alongside him so he can't make a little switch over before they come into the corner. And yeah, nothing Hendricks can do there except put himself at risk from the other SRG drivers, because now McFarland right on the back of Hendricks. And on board with McFarland. Hendricks taking that defensive line. And I'm not sure that was necessary unless Hendricks got a bad run out of that corner. He's trying to put pressure on Mitchell while at the same time being under heavy pressure from McFarland, from Bertolucci. Behind these two, John Lazon lurks, waiting to gain some of those spots back that he lost when he slid off at the hairpin, and Bertolucci going a little wide in the gravel there. They're all stacking up. Mitchell was... oh man, Hendricks was all over Mitchell. I think Mitchell may have gotten a slightly bad run out of there. McFarland was looking for room and didn't have any. And now Lazon is getting stacked up. The problem is Bertolucci cannot just back off and let his teammates battle Micah Hendricks unabated here. Lazon is putting pressure on non-stop. So Bertolucci has to stay as close to McFarland as possible. I'm sure he doesn't necessarily want to go by him, but he's going to have to at some point. Jumping back to Raymond 2, following the Honda of Mike D'Almeida. D'Almeida missed the first race of the season due to mechanical issues, but he is back after that retirement. And into turn number 2, he holds off Raymond 2 and Anthony Harrison. 2 has gained 4 spots total in this race so far. Started 17th. And Harrison behind in 14th. And then Mike D'Almeida's teammate, Connor Acatella, just a few spots back. Cody Crosgrove, his first appearance this season, currently running in 16th. He's lost 2 spots, but otherwise, it seems like he's found a nice little spot for himself in the middle of the pack. A lot of clean air to run in. And there's some loud noises happening up front, and what has happened? I was hearing some bumping and banging, and the SRG teammates have gotten into it. I think we've seen McFarland and Bertolucci have some sort of issue at the hairpin, and now Bertolucci's under threat from D'Almeida, but he will not go for a move into that corner. It does stack them all up, though. So that is worst case scenario for SRG. That is best case scenario for Breakfast for Dinner and John Lazan, because he is free to go continue to follow Damon Mitchell and Micah Hendricks. Hendricks is now under no pressure at all, so he has free reign to attack Mitchell. Not what Mitchell wanted to see, not what SRG wanted to see in this race. And the Gulf Veloster is going to start hunting him down here. The start of lap 9, 13 minutes into this 45-minute race at Hockenheimring. It's been a fairly clean affair. We saw Clark go off in the gravel. We saw it was Adrian Fedorowski and someone else come together. I forget who was. It was Jacob Wiley, I think, who was involved in that incident. And then we saw the SRG drivers Bertolucci and McFarlane have a little coming together on the exit of the hairpin. But otherwise, it's mostly just been people struggling to stay on track. We're going to bounce back to Spencer Clark because he's looking for a move against Brian Sohn. He's been thinking about this for a bit. Ty Dunnett went through. Dunnett's actually gained 6 spots in this race thus far. And now Clark's trying to do the same. Up ahead, though, it's Daniel Cedeno who's the biggest mover of this race. 10 spots since the start. That is huge. And now I'm seeing more trouble at the hairpin. Mike D'Almeida went wide. Connor Acatella went through. This is more trouble for Bertolucci. He drops more positions as he trades one double yellow driver for another. Acatella ahead of him. Oh no, Raymond 2 getting loose ahead. That's going to allow Anthony Harrison through. I should just stay on this group of cars because there's a lot happening here. And now 2 has stacked this whole group up. Acatella on the outside. Bertolucci's going to stay in line with him and now tucked to the inside. Almeida behind gets out of sorts, and Cosgrove's going to come up the inside of him and completely get ahead of him before the next quarter. Great move from him. Bertolucci trying to hold this on the inside of 2. He gets that, and now this whole group has been shuffled, and Anthony Harrison's the big winner. He makes out like a bandit, gets ahead of all those guys, and now has a 1.5 second gap up on all of them. We'll check in on the overall lead of the race real quick. Michael Polasek, 1.4 seconds up on McKenzie now, so he is out of slipstream range. McKenzie, Carr, and Schink all about 1 second off each other, and that's been the case for the last 5 minutes or so. In terms of the Delta lead, we just saw Cosgrove make that excellent, take advantage of that moment with Mike D'Almeida. Nice little pass. He is the current Delta leader, ahead of Jason Breen, ahead of Jacob Wiley. And D'Almeida is the car in between him and the rest of his Delta rivals. So that was a pretty pivotal pass to put an Alpha driver between him and the rest of his Delta rivals. Cosgrove looking for another move, this time on 2. And right up the back bumper. We've seen that a lot today where people just kind of end up on the back of or really running into the back of people in the hairpin. And I mean, that's just, you're slowing down so much for the corner. You want to carry speed through it. You're in a slightly different car. One's in a Honda, one's in a Hyundai. You may have slightly different lines. There's going to be a lot of paint traded between people's front and rear bumpers by the end of this one, just for the nature of that corner. Cosgrove doesn't need to make the pass, but certainly it's more points if he can get ahead of 2. We'll jump to the back of the pack. Oh, we were about to check in on Spencer Clark. I think we just checked in on him as he ran into the back of Brian Sohn, maybe? He has heavy front end damage. If we look at the back of Sohn, I mean, his bumper is damaged. I don't think that damage was there before. So there may have been a stack up there, but those two got into each other a little bit from the looks of things, and Clark loses some time. Bertolucci is the first driver to come down pit road. He is well within the pit window. He does have some left side damage. And he missed his pit stall. Oh no, he lost a couple. Oh, did he just move again? He definitely missed it the first time, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time on this early pit stop. I'm sure he's getting that damage repaired. And where's he going to come out? He will have a clean track ahead. but not that clean. He'll run into traffic fairly soon. He's only going to be about 2.5 seconds off of the next car, Adrian Fedorowski. And those guys, that group, that's Joel Duton, August Blondal, Adrian Fedorowski, those guys are lapping about a second slower than Bertolucci right now. So he will have to start making his way by them in a couple laps. That damage may have just been severe enough that he needed to come in. And now Duton under pressure from Blondal ahead, this group we were talking about, and Blondal's going to make that pass into the hairpin, and Fedorowski's going to try and take advantage of that and go past Duton as well. Duton's gained 4 spots since the start of this race, if you include the fact that August just passed him, and now he's going to lose another one of those. Fedorowski slots in ahead, and both of them are able to move into 14th and 15th in the Delta class, respectively. Brian Sohn is still sort of in this little sandwich between Spencer Clark and his friend Jason Lynn. Ty Dunnett still runs ahead of these guys, but it's only about a second, so he could end up getting roped back in by this group. On the last lap, he was on the last lap, he was 2/10 faster than Jason Lynn. So we'll keep an eye on that. Brian Saab down pit lane. Mike D'Almeida also taking the chance to come down. Bertolucci was about in the mid-pack, and he came out at the very tail end of the field and is starting to work his way through that traffic. These guys, Almeida was also kind of in the middle of the field. Brian Saab was a little bit deeper. He'll benefit from this early pit quite a bit more than Almeida or Bertolucci will or would, because he's going to come out way further behind the field. He's 8 seconds off of Bertolucci right now, so he has no traffic. So if he felt like he was getting held up and came in to be able to exercise his true pace, well, now he'll be able to do that. Raymond 2 is now under heavy pressure from Cody Crosgrove. And a Penguin RC car right on his back bumper. And this is going to be a battle for 13th position. 2 has gained 4 spots so far. Crosgrove right where he qualified, but nothing wrong with that. He's in the Delta lead, and that is what matters. Looking for any more points he can get. Not a whole lot going on in the top 10, so we haven't been checking in on them a ton. Damon Mitchell, John Lazon, Michael Hendricks, those guys all still racing with each other. Hendricks did get by Damon Mitchell, so he runs in the 6th position and has put a little bit of a gap between himself and the rest of that group, and is closing in on David Bauer. So we could see some action there as Hendricks tries to make his way back up into the top 5. Lazon now is putting Mitchell under pressure, though Dan McFarlane is back. He has crawled back up to this group to give his teammate an assist. Matt Zepka also lurks behind these guys, running slightly slower laps though, and he also has some front-end damage on that Sia Honda. Not sure where he received that, but there's been a lot of stacking up during this race. Michael Polasek now with a 2.7-second lead over McKenzie, Carr, Schenk, Bauer. He was 5/10 faster than McKenzie on the previous lap. So right now, he's looking pretty undisturbed up there. He's going well. That Veloster's going well. He just needs a routine pit stop, and he is in a very good spot in this race. I mean, that's a sizable lead. Carr coming under a little bit more pressure from Schenk, and Crosgrove on the... Oh, he's going to take a peek on 2. There may have been a little bit of netcode contact there. Crosgrove has to back out of it. 2 manages to save it, and they go back to racing. And I think Crosgrove is clearly the faster driver in this equation. But how long is it going to take him to get around the driver? Oh, he is really putting the nose in there, doing everything he can to get past the 96. Jason Breen closing in on this group as they duel. And I think Breen is pitting. Yes, he is. So you're going to watch this pit entry. You see they come around this corner, and you're going to gun it all the way down to here because the yellow cones, speed limit line, right there. So Breen onto pit road. Cody Crosgrove, Raymond 2, Jacob Wiley, they all stay out. Guada Rizla is in. He has some front end damage that he will be looking to get repaired with that fast repair. And James Carr is, while he's under more pressure from Francois Schenck, he's still about a second off of McKenzie. 23 minutes, we are halfway through this race. None of the leaders have taken the pit road. I don't expect them to towards the end, until the end. Crosgrove on the left side of Raymond 2, into the hairpin this time. This will be interesting because 2 has to compromise his line a bit. Crosgrove will get a nice exit. Will he attempt something? If you get a nice swing around the kink here, you can go for a move, and he's tried to cut the grass to really send it, and into this corner right here. 2's going to try and take a late turn in to get a crossover. He's got the momentum, but he can't take it anywhere. Crosgrove has done him, and he's done him well, and now he'll go defensive into the next corner. 2's going to go for the crossover now. On his bumper. Swings back to the right side. Defensive line for Crosgrove, sitting in the middle of the track. And there is nothing the Yellow Flag Motorsports driver can do. This is some solid battling right here, 24 minutes in. Oh, right around the final corner, and neither of them going down pit lane. So it is now Crosgrove ahead of 2. And nobody really within striking distance of him after Breen pitted. Jacob Wiley's the next car back, and he is sitting in 15th overall. Micah Hendricks has closed up on David Bauer. Christian Ost has taken to pit road. And I think he's the only taker on this lap. I do see Kyle Murray is on pit lane. And, oh, these 2 going side by side again. 2 got him coming out of turn number 4, so down to the hairpin. They're going to be neck and neck, and 2 tried to squeeze him there, and they made contact. Crosgrove may have come a little off the curbing. They're letting each other know, hey, I'm here. And once again, 2's going to have him out of the hairpin there. And now the heat is getting turned up in this fight a little. And these are the 2 guys really on track, that the only guys that are really willing to keep doing this. And whoa, what a move, what a send. Is he going to be able to hold that? No, he's not. But I commend him for it. That was pure entertainment, but it has cost him a little bit. That puts him 7/10 off of 2. I think it was the right move, but he may have overdone it a little bit. And I see another move happening. That's Franco. He's trying to move on Ian. And no, the Argentinian has to slot back in behind him. Yeah, he's in P7th overall in the Delta class. He's gained 7 spots since the start of this race, 5 in class. That Audi is going great for him. Just behind, Almeida is on the bumper of Jason Lynn. Peeks right. Tucks back in behind. He's going to peek right again. He's forcing Lynn to choose a lane, and now he's going to take the lane that Lynn leaves him. And that is going to be Almeida through to P23 overall. And Almeida has pitted, so this is traffic that he's cutting through. You see Aguirre has started down pit lane. He's decided it's time. And John Lazon. Whoa, what's going on here? Mitchell on the inside, Lazon to the outside. McFarlane trying to take advantage of it, trying to help his teammate out. Lazon is going to end up going wide, losing out at the exit of the corner, and now he's got to deal with McFarlane. And McFarlane's going to clear him before the next corner, so that is exactly what SRG wanted to see. And remember, the top 2 drop. Oh, look at this! A little comeback move for Lazon. He's able to keep his nose in, and McFarlane expertly leaves him the minimum amount of room. Lazon has to get up on the curb a little bit, and that is it. Now let's jump back to Jason Breen. Lots of action on track right now. Breen was alongside August Blondal for a moment there, but not going to be able to keep it heading into the hairpin. And that is the battle for 25th. But again, Breen has pitted. Blondal's not. Jason Lynn is not. Cosgrove has lost 2 more tenths to 2 at the moment, but he has a 3-second lead over the next closest Delta driver, which is Jacob Wiley. And Wiley has generally been a tenth or 2 slower than Cosgrove over the course of the day. We have Lazan coming into pit. He decided after that lap, let's see if I can beat them off the undercut. So he's come down pit road. Polasek has just set another purple lap here. Again, 5 tenths faster. Polasek was actually a second faster than McKenzie on that last lap, so really gapping the guys behind. And McKenzie's now under heavy pressure from James Carr. Actually, now that we tune into this, right before the pit window opens, this could be interesting because it's going to be. It would be really important to be the car ahead in this group when pit road opens, because based on the gaps, I don't think anybody's been fuel saving. It's going to be down to who can pull off the fastest pit entry, pit exit, and a huge part of that is going to be who is ahead, because that's just going to spot you a half second at least. August Blondal has come down pit road. Brian Son comes down pit road. He's out of his stall. Blondal follows him. Very small splash of gas to get to the end of this one. They're probably taking about 12 to 13 liters. They're spending about 12 to 13 seconds in their stall, depending on when they pitted and how much they have been consuming fuel. Polasek is on a heater. As we get to the low fuel, the tires are in their prime. This guy has just done a 1:48.17, and he went purple in all 3 sectors on that lap. Just unmatched up front. Polasek resuming right where he left off back in Season 2. His last victory at Suzuka Circuit. And now, here's an interesting development. James Carr and Francois Schink both down pit road. And we watched that. They stopped in their stall the exact same moment. So we're actually going to get to see who put in less fuel here. And it was Carr by just a sliver. But that shouldn't matter all that much. Not a surprising result there. Carr beating Schink off a pit lane. Maybe slightly surprising as they tried to go for the undercut on McKenzie, and they've come out right behind McKenzie's teammate. That's a fun little wrinkle to throw into that. Now Anthony Harrison has come down pit road. Cosgrove coming out of his stall. Wiley, Darnell also coming off pit road. So we're going to see, let's see, Cosgrove, where is Jason Breen? Jason Breen was trailing Cosgrove for that Delta lead. He goes by Mark Darnell. There's Jacob Wiley, and he's going to be behind Jacob Wiley, so he has lost time, and Cosgrove has gained. So the last 3 Delta drivers that have not pitted are Daniel Sedano, Kirk Lane, and Ty Dunnan. In the Alpha class, the entire top 9 have yet to pit. That's Polasek, McKenzie, Bauer, Hendricks, Mitchell, McFarland, Zepka, Akatella in 2. And I expect all of them are probably going to be coming down pit lane this lap. The leader's in. McKenzie is in. And now we're going to see the rest in. Bauer's managed to hold Hendricks off at the end of this stint. See if he can stay ahead of him through the pit stops. There come the SRG drivers behind them. There's Zepka. Ooh, Zepka going a little wide on entry there. He's pushing it. Oh, and I see Jimmy John is taking brand new tires. And, oh, David Bauer missed his pit stall. We might see a change of position here. Let's watch Hendricks in that Golf Veloster. There he goes. And look at that, Bauer stayed in his stall too long. I think even if he hadn't missed his stall, he might have lost that position because Hendricks was out much, much faster than him. So that's a great job by Hendricks pit crew. He's now up 5 spots in this race overall. McKenzie did come out about a second ahead of Carr, so he gained about a half second through pit lane. Kirk Lane and Daniel Sedano are off pit road now, and Lane has leapfrogged Sedano in the pits. And I'm trying to figure out why because Sedano only spent 12 seconds in his pit stall. Oh, I see what happened. Sedano pitted. Kirk actually served a drive-through. Interesting. So he's going an extra lap on this fuel. I wonder if he's even going to be able to make that. Ty Dunnett is the last driver to make a scheduled pit stop. I guess Kirk Lane is technically making a unscheduled pit stop after the drive-through if he was meant to do it on that lap. Cosgrove under pressure from Ian Bertolucci. And not wholly surprising, Bertolucci, his undercut didn't exactly work out all that great, and now he's having to claw his way back past some of these guys. Cosgrove, the inside line, and it's very hard to make a crossover there because it very quickly narrows into this kink to the right. So no need to do anything defensive for Cosgrove there. Looking back at the SRG driver. Will he try something into this corner? Cosgrove's going to hold the inside, and very easy to defend on that corner. The banking really helps you out. And then there's nothing that people can do through this next section, really. It's all about coming through this double right-hander. And there they come. Oh, Bertolucci gets a little out of sorts, actually, and loses about a second to him. And he may end up under pressure from Mike D'Almeida. Kirk Lane now coming down for his actual pit stop. Polasek is 5.3 seconds up on McKenzie. McKenzie has lost that advantage that he opened up on Carr. But Carr has not... We haven't even seen Carr get alongside McKenzie. Maybe it's happened once or twice when we weren't looking, but it has certainly seemed like he's had trouble finding an opportunity. Christian Ost has just come down pit road, and so has Fuad Al-Rijla. And both of them were serving drive-thrus. So a lot of drive-thrus being handed out. The incident limit is 13. So a couple drivers falling afoul of that. Kirk Lane, Fuad Al-Rijla, and Christian Ost, to name a few. And now they've been thrust into this battle for what is now 26th. That's Brian Son up at the front of this group. And he might be under pressure. And yes, to the inside, Franco Aguirre into the hairpin, wheel to wheel. And Son is going to go a little wide. Aguirre cuts it a little, he cut that curb a lot. And Son, as a result, has gotten a very nice run out of the corner, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. And that spot goes to the number 356. And again, he is making that Audi work for him quite nicely. He had a slightly longer pit stop than normal. Spent 14 seconds in his stall, so he lost a little bit of time relative to those around him. He's trying to make that up now. He still gained 3 spots overall in this race. Back up to Anthony Harrison. He's currently fending off Connor Acatella. That's the battle for 11th. Up in the battle for 7th, well, Damon Mitchell and Dan McFarland, the 2 SRG teammates, sort of running alone out there. Matt Zepka came out ahead of John Lazon, and Lazon pitted 2 laps earlier than Zepka, and has come out behind him, trying to get back ahead. Lazon has lost 6 spots since the start of this race. I think he's faster than Zepka. He just got to get the move done. And then up front, Polasek with a 6-second lead now, and McKenzie still holding about a half-second gap over Carr. Schenck has not been able to close that up much either. We'll jump back to Acatella, really close to the tail end of the 502. Getting a good run out of there through this little right-hand sweeper. You want to cut the curb, but you don't want to cut all the way to the inside of the curb. Otherwise, it causes the car to start hopping across the track. You'll understeer off and get a lot of this curb, and then take as much of that as you can without getting into the gravel. Now into the banked corner. You really want to throw it in there because the banking acts as sort of a natural braking force at the very end. Kind of helps turn your car in. And then the double right-hander at the end of the track. very tricky in these cars. They want to do nothing but understeer. Been hearing from a lot of the drivers today that there isn't a whole lot of grip out there. The track feeling worse than it did in the practice session. But despite the relatively cold temperatures that we've had all day. We'll roll back to the rear of the field to check in on Brian Sohn again. Still running ahead of August Blondal and Fuad Al-Rijla. He's gained 1 spot today. Al-Rijla down 10 spots after that drive-through. He probably has the pace on these guys, but difficult to pass here, so it's going to take some effort. I also see he still has that front end damage, so I wonder if he did not take his faster pair for whatever reason, or maybe he collected new front end damage that looks exactly the same. Hard to tell, hard to know. Let's run down the, we're pretty familiar with the top of the Alpha field right now. Let's run down the Delta field for a moment. Cody Crosgrove, your leader in the Delta class, back for his first start in season 11. He's doing it in style, qualified 14th overall, running 14th overall, well ahead of any other Delta driver. Jacob Wiley is currently 5 seconds off of him. So, with just 7 minutes left, it's a matter of bringing it home for the Penguin RC driver. Jacob Wiley running in second with Jason Breen in third behind. These two have had fairly similar pace over the course of the day, but over the course of the day, they both have just kind of slowly lost out to Cody Crosgrove. And so it's kind of just evolved into a battle for second, a battle to stay on the podium. Which isn't all that difficult right now because the next closest driver, Daniel Cedeno, 12 seconds off of these guys. So Delta class a bit more spread out after a very close battle last week. Crosgrove last season came very close to winning an actual race. So to see him bring home a Delta win today, that would be an outstanding result for those guys. So, jumping off of the Delta podium, you have Cedeno and Brian Saab battling for the 4th spot overall in the Delta class. And Cedeno's up 13 spots so far today. That would slot him in nicely for that naked aggression bonus point. But Saab is going to try and take one away from him. I think he sent it a little deep there, and Cedeno will have no issue making a nice little crossover. Thank you very much. That is my spot once again. And there's no one around them, so they are free to kind of have a knockdown, drag-out battle here. That's, if you're the trailing car, there's a nice benefit to having no one ahead to chase and no one behind to attack or to defend against. You're free to just go at the guy in front of you without any sort of consequence. The field, a couple close battles. We have Christian Ost defending against Franco Aguirre and into the hairpin. That's Brian Sohn and August Blondal behind, also going 2x2. The car on the outside wins that battle. Car on the inside wins the battle ahead. And now this is Al-Rijla's chance to sneak ahead of Blondal. And right in front of him, he had just enough of an edge to slot ahead of the Elantra driver. And that puts Al-Rijla up in P12 in the Delta class. Oh, here we go. The teammates have finally swapped positions as McFarlane makes the move into turn number 2. And coming out of turn number 4, Mitchell is going to have a better run, so let's see what happens here. Coming down into the hairpin, this is going to get a little dicey for the teammates. Will Mitchell try something? Zepka's 3 seconds back. There's only 4 minutes left, so they might as well go for it, and no, Mitchell's going to back out. I wonder if they're trying to chase down David Bauer. McFarlane and Bauer have the exact same best lap. On the last lap, McFarlane was 0.2 faster. That pace would not be enough to catch Bauer by the end of the race, though. So hopefully he has a little more pace stored in there, if that is their plan. Further behind, there's Harrison. There's Connor Acatella. Only a couple of battles really happening on track, so we keep bouncing back to these same kind of groups. See Raymond, too, hanging out a little further off these guys. He is closing in on them. So he could have something to say by the end of this race, but he would have to hightail it up there. It's a 2-second gap. Those guys are right on top of each other. I could tell I had to brake early there to not hit Harrison. And Harrison going a little wide, but he's able to stay in front. Michael Polasek is coming through turn number 4 now. It is lap 25 here at the Hockenheimring, and they're doing almost 2-minute laps. It looks like we're going to have 26 laps total. He should get the white flag next time around, in what has been a fairly undisturbed performance from him. He's put up about an 8-second gap on the rest of this field. And Acatella has a good run out of turn number 1, so now we're going to see him finally take the attack to Anthony Harrison. And into turn number 2, not much Harrison can do about that one. Acatella's got it done, and I think he's got a good run out of 4, enough speed to defend it heading down to the hairpin. Logan McKenzie, James Carr, Francois Schenck. This story has not changed, and really it just seems like it isn't there for Carr to make any kind of run at McKenzie. It seems like he might have the faster pace, but not close enough to do anything. And we've been seeing that a lot. And now what's this? Raymond 2 and Ian Bertolucci side by side. And Bertolucci works his way past. And what has happened there? Raymond was very close to Acatella and Anthony Harrison. Now he's slid back behind Cosgrove and Bertolucci. So another mistake from 2 has put him back there. And that's another spot, another bundle of points for the Delta leader, Cody Cosgrove. McKenzie still 4/10 ahead of Carr up here. Polasek has received the white flag. Let me see where he is on track. Let's see if they're throwing the white flag when they come across the line here with Raymond 2. But now Bertolucci he's going to try and hunt down Cosgrove before the end of this race. They are waving the white flag, so he'll only have 1 lap to do it. It's going to be tight for him. We'll watch, we'll roll down the front of the field here now. McKenzie's still holding off Carr. Schenck has closed this up quite a bit. But it's just a matter of can anyone actually pull off a move here. Ian Bertolucci, speaking of moves, side by side with the Delta leader, and Raymond 2's gonna get involved. They're gonna go 3 wide on the last lap, and if I was Cosgrove, I'd be cringing right now. I just want to win the Delta class. Come on, he's gonna squeeze 2 down. 2 has a crazy run. He gets past Bertolucci. Now he's gonna go for Cosgrove in the hairpin, and on exit he has him. And that is tight. That is dicey. But I think he's going to clear him. Coming out of the final corner, Michael Polasek in the Hyundai Veloster. He's going to bring it home. It's a dominant victory, flag to flag for the driver, and Polasek brings it home. That is his 3rd career Alpha Touring Challenge victory, but his first since season 2. We will look back at McKenzie now. He's picked up P2, Carr P3. Cosgrove and 2 are battling for this all the way to the line. Right on the edge, into the final corner. Cosgrove cuts down and he's sliding. Oh, Cosgrove sliding, and now knocked to the side is Raymond 2, and he gets spun off at the final corner. And there's nothing he can do. He's parked sideways. Cosgrove, Wiley, Breen go through. And he finally rejoins there, but Cody Cosgrove has crossed the line and waiting for confirmation here. But it looks like, based on the results I'm seeing, he may have been handed a penalty for hitting the incident limit at the end of the race, which means Jacob Wiley has inherited the victory. And we're waiting for confirmation on this. We will check the final results, but I think Jacob Wiley may have just picked up back-to-back Delta wins. Cosgrove looked on set to take the victory there, but that last-minute incident with 2 may have been it. And we are checking. We will look at the final results here in a moment. But what a hectic race from Hockenheim. Polasek winning in the Alpha class, and we'll be back in a moment to confirm the winner of the Delta class. The race is over. The results are in. Let's take a look at the final standings from Hockenheim. Off top, Michael Polasek, your winner by nearly 10 seconds. A very impressive victory, on par with some of Micah Hendricks and Wojciech Savidovich's best works. McKenzie and Carr round out the podium, with Schink just missing out this week. Wiley is your Delta class winner. Cody Cosgrove's penalty was confirmed. He hit the iRacing incident limit, and so Jacob Wiley, a back-to-back victory to start season 11. That's a great job for him and for breakfast for dinner. Jason Breen and Yart once again getting close, not getting the win, but it's still great points in that Delta Championship. And then Daniel Cedeno passes more people than anyone else in this race to come home 17th overall and 3rd on that Delta podium. Here are the rest of your results. Well, that's going to be it from Hockenheim. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, we are headed to Knock Hill for a very, very different race. Much shorter track, sprint races. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be crazy. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching.